are you. A war. It's time all human beings, you, fathers, fight.
Go, why can't someone stay
The
here and train
research,
for
the
it?
feet above the ground.
Take that.
Okay. How you know?
Yeah. What?
5, 4. Lieutenant, something's wrong with that.
What happens next?
Hell went wrong. Right now. Identifiers. Okay, Dan, listen up. And we can't stop them, so we're gonna have to clean it. They're going to eradicate every problem, Dan, and I'm gonna need your help. And they are surrounded by the enemy, so I need you to get my team out of there.
Combat search and red up to follow me. Okay, we need someone on count. Okay.
Scooter.
No aim.
Eyes up, down, all around. Keep them alive, man. What the hell they're doing? I could say they'd eat us. The research facility from the southeast.
Oh. Doing. You can't take. This guy should.
Man.
So you need to move fast.
Here, all data, all hard drives.
And I need those blue ampules
I see something. Something's watching us.
Start the bomb.
along the south wall.
Cowan? Ladies and gentlemen, let's
To move fast.
go.
He's out there or not.
Come here.
Part on that body. Let's go.
Anybody here?
1 minute.
Inbound. I'm on target.
At the next intersection, you got white spikes. Okay, but you need...
Target location. Bravo 26.
We cannot waste it. I need you to do exactly what I said. Back.
Number one, I'll hold him off as long as I can. Have a working toxin. I want my chop.
Hey, brink the bottom deck.
On essentials. Everyone has got to go back on the next jump.
Be advised, we've got spike.
We just sit here for a while.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. This is how I remember you.
You can't do this right now.
You gotta leave. This never happened.
What? Let us. This went offline. We can't send anything.
I'm sorry.
I hid.
I made it the second that you left from my room. And look, you like it?
It's gonna be. She's smart.
Literally, physically saw.
She was gonna kill me. So we gotta.
Hey, we know.
Northern Russia.
Okay.
20 Yeah.
To have gotten here somehow. They attacked in 2048 doesn't mean that's when they.
Should be
Because we're looking at the wrong.
Shit.
I think it was your
It's all
wife.
good.
Unable to stop rioting and lose the face of the earth.
Dorian doesn't look like it. Bro, if I gotta save the world to save her, then you still got that claw?
There is something here from China or
So how does Chinese volcano woman and child on this planet? What a creature who's only ever
This would
eruption. What the hell is that?
D with the force of buried in ice.
I love it.
Found volcanic AD.
But to get ash,
they didn't dig down. They
I weighed 1,000.
Russia 2023 to 20.
But that's where they are. There to get the proof. Listen, if we
President just placed the armed forces on high London. NATO's to a hostile sovereign nation.
Waltz Technologies, where the Amazon.
Going.
That, huh?
No, Russia's no way we can get there.
Undetected into Russian airspace.
Why, unless they need something.
Thank you for coming.
It was.
A man.
And why would I load it in the camp?
Dropping to 1,000 feet.
Anomalies, okay? Anything.
Part of the glacier by sundown. Vantage point if we can get to the
Ice cube.
Quadrant. Looks rough.
Hey guys, today we're diving headfirst into a flick that asks the age-old question, what if your future self crashed your present-day party? We're talking about The Tomorrow War, a sci-fi action epic where humanity's last hope might just be a high school science teacher. This isn't your average Tuesday night. It's a desperate plea from 30 years in the future. Imagine enjoying a nice, normal Christmas gathering, maybe a soccer game blaring in the background, when suddenly, the future quite literally drops in. This is a passion project for me, and a like or a subscribe is the best way to show your support. So if you're on board, join the crew. If not, thanks for watching anyway. So picture this, a live soccer match, the crowd's buzzing, the usual fanfare, then boom! A shimmering portal, looking less like a friendly neighborhood wormhole and more like a cosmic tear, rips open in the sky. Out drop soldiers, not from a parachute, but from thin air. The collective gasp of the crowd is almost as loud as the thud of their futuristic gear hitting the grass. These aren't your local LARPing enthusiasts. They're grim-faced, armed to the teeth warriors, and their message? Humanity is losing a war 30 years in the future, against a relentlessly vicious alien species. Talk about a buzzkill for the halftime show. The entire world stares, collectively wondering if this is a prank or the most terrifying reality show ever. The world, as you might expect, goes a little bonkers. Governments are scrambling. The stock market probably took a dive faster than a lead balloon, and humanity is suddenly faced with an existential crisis imported directly from tomorrow. The future's desperate plea isn't just a heads up, it's a conscription order. Turns out, the future folks don't just need a friendly chat. They need bodies, specifically bodies that aren't already deceased by 2051. So, if you're alive and kicking in 2022, but statistically speaking, you're not going to be around in 2051, congratulations, you're exempt. For everyone else, you might just get a very official-looking letter asking you to report for duty. It's a bizarre form of reverse natural selection, where living too long is suddenly a disadvantage. The sheer audaciousness of it all, the audacity of the future to draft the past, is truly something to behold. Enter our reluctant hero, Dan Forrester. He's a high school science teacher, which sounds perfectly normal, right? But Don's got a bit of a backstory. He's a decorated military veteran, which, ironically, makes him a prime candidate for future shenanigans. His days are now filled with explaining chemical reactions and the periodic table, a far cry from, say, combat maneuvers. He's got a loving wife, Emmy, and an adorable daughter, Maury, who thinks he's the bee's knees. Life's pretty good, if a little unexciting for a man who once knew the roar of battle. He applies for a research position at a prestigious university, hoping for a change of pace, a new challenge. The quiet hum of the classroom feels almost too peaceful, like the calm before a very, very loud storm. Then, the inevitable arrives, not with a bang, but with the quiet thud of an official envelope. Through the mail slot, Dan, like millions of others, receives his draft notice. His application to a prestigious university denied. His plans for a quiet, fulfilling life as a research scientist? Poof, gone, replaced by a one-way ticket to a war he hasn't even fought yet. The emotional weight of this moment hits hard, not just for Dan, but for his family. The quiet conversations, the hushed tones, the forced smiles. It's the sound of a family unit fracturing under the weight of an impossible demand. His daughter, Maury, senses the shift, clinging to her dad, instinctively knowing something big and bad is coming. It's a gut-wrenching moment, one that feels all too real in its depiction of powerlessness. The goodbye is rough, as all goodbyes to potential death are. At the processing center, surrounded by other shell-shocked draftees and their weeping families, Dan tries to be strong for Emmy and Maury. He gives Maury a small, carved wooden owl, a promise of his return, a tangible piece of comfort she can hold onto. The weight of leaving them, not knowing if he'll ever see them again, hangs heavy in the air, a silent, choking pressure. The government assures everyone they'll be back in 7 days. 7 days. But the look in everyone's eyes suggests they've heard that one before. It's a heartbreaking spectacle, a mass migration of the present's working age population into a future that actively wants to erase them. The sound of muffled sobs fills the cavernous hall, a grim chorus accompanying the march to an unknown fate. Next stop, boot camp for the future, or rather a slightly less glamorous processing facility where they're given a crash course in not dying in 30 years' time. Dan meets a motley crew, a quirky scientist named Charlie, a conspiracy theorist named Dorian, and a handful of other regular Joes and Janes, all equally bewildered and terrified. The training is rudimentary, mostly focused on how to shoot a futuristic rifle and, presumably, how to scream effectively. It's clear they're not looking for elite soldiers, just warm bodies with a pulse and a willingness to follow orders. The air crackles with nervous energy, punctuated by the metallic click of new weapons and the strained laughter of men and women trying to cope with the absurdity of their situation. This is less Top Gun and more cannon fodder. The time travel edition. The heart of this temporal tomfoolery is the jump link device. Basically, it's a wristband that connects you to your future self's timeline. You jump through a wormhole, and if your future self happens to still be alive, you pop into existence in 2051. If not, well, you cease to exist, which is a rather harsh way to explain a glitch in the Matrix, isn't it? It's a marvel of physics, or maybe just a really advanced form of self-sabotage, depending on your perspective. The science behind it is hand-waved a bit, as it should be, but the core idea is elegantly terrifying. Your survival hinges on your continued existence 30 years from now. It also means if your future self dies, you die. No pressure. The implications for global demographics must be a nightmare for any statistician, let alone a soldier. Then it's showtime. A giant, shimmering wormhole opens, and the recruits are literally shoved through. It's less a graceful sci-fi transition and more like being violently ejected from a cosmic cannon. Dan and his squad land, not on solid ground, but with a chaotic splash into a flooded swimming pool in what was once Miami. Welcome to the future, folks. It's a post-apocalyptic mess, buildings crumbling, fires everywhere, and the chilling sounds of battle already echoing. This isn't a warm welcome, it's a baptism by fire, water, and alien acid. The immediate sensory overload is palpable. The cold shock of the water, the deafening cracks of gunfire, the screams of the dying, and the horrifying scuttling sounds of the white spikes. This is no drills. This is the real ugly, claw and tooth deal, and Dan, the high school teacher, is thrust right into the heart of it. The white spikes, my goodness, these things are not here to make friends. They're fast, they're agile, they're covered in jagged spikes, and they spit acid. Imagine a velociraptor got really, really angry, mutated with a crab, and then had an unfortunate run-in with a porcupine. They're the apex predators of 2051, and they are everywhere. Dan and his squad are immediately overwhelmed, dropping like flies. Charlie, the quirky scientist, is initially useless, clinging to the side of a building, clearly not built for this kind of action. The sheer brutality of the creatures is visceral. You can almost feel the sharp crunch of their claws tearing through armor, the wet sizzle of their acid on concrete. It's a terrifying, almost claustrophobic fight for survival in a crumbling, alien-infested city. Every shadow seems to hold a new threat, every scuttling sound a harbinger of death. Their mission? Retrieve some scientists from a crashed chopper. Sounds simple, right? Wrong, the chopper is surrounded. The scientists are probably toast, and Dawn's squad is being systematically annihilated. Dan, despite being a high school teacher, quickly reverts to his military instincts, taking charge when his commanding officer bites it. He rallies the dwindling survivors, including Charlie and Dorian, the latter being a bit of a liability due to his general ineptitude and constant griping. They move through the crumbling, alien-infested ruins, the metallic clang of their boots on rebar echoing ominously. The air is thick with dust and the acrid smell of alien acid, a grim perfume for this hellish landscape. Every corner turned is a potential ambush, every distant roar a reminder of their precarious existence. It's pure, unadulterated terror, punctuated by brief, explosive bursts of frantic gunfire. After a grueling, chaotic fight that costs most of his squad, Dan and the few survivors finally reach the main base. And who greets them? None other than Colonel Maury Forrester. The name clicks with a jolt of recognition for Dan and for the audience. The hardened, no-nonsense military leader standing before him is his daughter, Maury, 30 years older, forged in the fires of this brutal war, the look of quiet intensity. In her eyes, the familiar tilt of her head, it's unmistakably her. The reveal lands with a silent thud, a gut punch of tragic irony. He's been drafted to fight alongside his own future daughter, a daughter he hasn't seen grow up, a daughter who has become a brilliant, but scarred commander. The emotional weight of this is immense, a silent acknowledgement of the terrifying journey he's just begun. Maury, now a brilliant scientist and military strategist, explains the grim reality of the white spikes. They're not just invaders. They're an invasive species, multiplying at an alarming rate, adaptable and seemingly unstoppable. She shows them diagrams of their horrifying biology, the sheer strength, the acid, the impenetrable armor. The key to defeating them, she believes, is a specialized toxin. But to create that toxin, they need a live female white spike, specifically the queen. Yes, a queen, because of course there's a queen. There always is. The sheer scale of the alien threat is laid bare, a global infestation that has pushed humanity to the brink. The visual of the holographic map, slowly turning red with alien incursions, paints a truly bleak picture of their future, or rather, their present. The dynamic between Dan and Maury is fascinating and heartbreaking. She sees him as her father, but he's also a fresh recruit, a ghost from her past, a reminder of the life she lost. She's stoic, burdened by the war and the immense responsibility on her shoulders. Dan, on the other hand, is trying to reconcile the image of his little girl with the battle-hardened colonel. He tries to connect, to understand the path she took, but she keeps him at arm's length, wary of letting sentimentality cloud her judgment in this brutal war. It's a truly awkward family reunion, with the fate of humanity hanging in the balance, because nothing says family bonding quite like fighting interdimensional aliens with your offspring, right? The emotional resonance of their strained interactions adds a crucial layer to the action. The plan is hatched, a high-stakes mission to capture a live female white spike. This isn't your average bug hunt. This is a capture a world-ending creature for science mission. Dan, Maury, and a small, elite team prepare, each soldier understanding the extreme danger they're about to face. The tension is palpable as they don their heavy combat gear, the metallic clatter of armor plates a grim accompaniment to their silent resolve. Maury, ever the professional, breathes them with precision, her voice calm despite the immense pressure. The weight of this mission is immense, felt in the way they grip their weapons, the sharp intakes of breath, and the knowing glances shared between hardened warriors. Failure isn't an option. It's extinction. Their target? A massive, heavily guarded alien nest, deep beneath the ravaged surface. The team rappels down into a gaping maw in the earth, a truly terrifying descent into the unknown. The interior of the nest is a bioorganic nightmare, pulsating with grotesque bioluminescent growths and the unsettling scuttling sounds of thousands of white spikes. The air is thick with a strange, acrid smell, a testament to the sheer alienness of their environment. Every shadow seems to writhe, every distant skittering sound sending shivers down your spine. This isn't just a military operation, it's a horror movie come to life, where the monsters are real and armed with razor-sharp claws. It's a sensory assault designed to make you feel as uncomfortable as possible, and it absolutely works. Inside the nest, the combat is relentless. White spikes pour out of every crevice, a seemingly endless horde of spiky terror. The deafening roar of futuristic gunfire mixes with the guttural screeches of the aliens, creating a symphony of chaos. Dan, tapping into his dormant combat skills, fights with a ferocity born of desperation and the desire to protect his daughter. Mori, a seasoned veteran, moves with ruthless efficiency, her aim precise, her movements fluid. The team is pushed to their limits, their energy waning, their ammunition dwindling. The metallic thud of an alien hitting the ground, the wet splat of acid, the frantic clack of a reloading weapon, every sound amplifies the sheer, horrifying urgency of their situation. This is not just a fight, it's a desperate stand against annihilation. Against all odds, after a truly brutal firefight, they manage to corner a female white spike. This isn't the queen, but a robust specimen perfect for their needs. It's a terrifying beast, much larger and more powerful than the drones they've been fighting, thrashing with immense strength. They deploy specialized nets and tranquilizers, a high-wire active precision and brute force. The creature's desperate roars echo through the cavern, a chilling testament to its ferocity. The air crackles with spent energy, the metallic scent of ozone mixing with the alien funk. The success feels monumental, a small victory bought with immense sacrifice. They haul the subdued creature back, a grotesque trophy that might just turn the tide of this impossible war. The sheer effort involved in subduing it is almost as impressive as fighting the whole horde. Back at the base, Mori immediately gets to work, isolating genetic material from the captured female and synthesizing the toxin. This is her life's work, the culmination of years of research, fueled by desperation. Dan watches her, a profound sense of pride and regret washing over him. He sees the brilliant woman his daughter became, but also the sacrifices she made. The lab hums with the soft whirring of machines, the precise clicks of scientific instruments, a stark contrast to the earlier cacophony of battle. Every minute counts, every step of the process critical, because the white spikes aren't slowing down their assault. It's a race against time, with the future of humanity hanging by a meticulously measured drop of a specially engineered bioweapon. Talk about pressure, even a lab coat can't deflect that kind of stress. During a brief lull, Dan and Mori finally talk, truly talk. He apologizes for not being there, for the life she had to live. She, in turn, explains the burden of her knowledge, the weight of command, and the sacrifices she's made. It's a raw, emotional conversation, years of unspoken feelings pouring out amidst the sterile hum of the lab. He learns about her childhood, the loss of her father, him, and how it shaped her. It's a powerful moment of father-daughter bonding, amplified by the dire circumstances. The soft, almost whispered tones of their voices are a stark contrast to the screams of battle, creating an intimate space where their shared humanity, despite the temporal chasm, shines through. The crackle of static from distant comms is a constant reminder that their peace is fleeting. Just as Mori perfects the toxin, the inevitable happens. The base is overrun. The white spikes launch a massive, coordinated assault, breaching the defenses with terrifying efficiency. Explosions rock the facility, the metallic groans of the collapsing structure joining the cacophony of gunfire and alien shrieks. Soldiers fight valiantly, but they're clearly outnumbered, outmatched. It's a desperate, losing battle, a last stand against an unstoppable tide. The frantic footsteps of soldiers, the piercing alarm bells, the horrifying wet thuds of aliens closing in. It's a symphony of impending doom. Dan and Maury find themselves fighting side by side, their personal struggle now inextricably linked with the final moments of humanity's future stronghold. There's a gut-wrenching realization that this could be it, the absolute end. In a heart-wrenching twist, Maury realizes there's only one way to ensure the toxin makes it back to the past. Gravely wounded, she shoves Dan towards the jump link portal, sacrificing herself to buy him the precious seconds he needs to escape. He fights her, desperate to save her, but she's resolute. Her final look, a mixture of love, determination, and resignation, is devastating. The portal shimmers, sucking him away as the sounds of the collapsing base and the swarming white spikes engulf her. It's a gut-wrenching scene, the ultimate sacrifice, a daughter sending her father back to save a future that she won't live. To see the crackling of the portal, the final, choked cry from Dan, and the silent, accepting nod from Maury, it's powerful filmmaking that truly hits you in the feels. It's a classic pull yourself together, Dad, you've got work to do moment, but with way more alien goo. Dan crashes back into the present, physically unharmed, but emotionally shattered. He's back, but Maury isn't. He carries the precious vials of toxin, the last hope for humanity, a grim trophy from a future he barely survived. The pristine, untouched world of 2020 feels alien, almost offensive after the hell he's witnessed. He tries to warn the military leadership, to explain the true origin of the white spikes, that they're not from another dimension, but a species that crashed on Earth long ago. But of course, they don't believe him. Aliens from the Arctic. You've been through a lot, son. It's a classic Cassandra complex situation. He knows the truth, but no one will listen. The frustration is almost as palpable as the grief he carries for his daughter. The hushed, disbelieving whispers of the medical staff are a stark contrast to the screams of the future. Undeterred by the military skepticism, Dan takes matters into his own hands. He knows what he saw, what Maury told him. He starts piecing together the clues, using Maury's research and his own knowledge. He learns that the white spikes were found frozen in ice, indicating a far earlier arrival on Earth than previously thought. The world building here is subtle but crucial. The aliens aren't invaders from another galaxy, but a prehistoric, indigenous threat accidentally awakened. This changes everything, shifting the narrative from a reactive defense to a proactive hunt. He's driven by Maury's sacrifice, a desperate need to make her death mean something. The quiet rustle of maps, the frantic clicks of a keyboard, it's the sound of a man on a mission, fueled by grief and a ticking clock. Dan realizes he can't do this alone. He turns to the one person he knows has the skills and the unconventional mindset to help, his estranged father, James Forster, a gruff, survivalist Vietnam veteran who lives off the grid. Their relationship is, let's just say, complicated. James was exempt from the draft because, well, he's a bit older than the average draftee, and probably wouldn't make it to 2051 anyway. Dan explains everything: the time travel, Maury, the aliens, the toxin. James, ever the cynic, listens with a raised eyebrow, the shotgun at the ready, but there's a flicker of belief, a paternal instinct to help his son, no matter how wild the tale. The distant chirping of crickets and the rustle of leaves create a deceptively peaceful backdrop to this incredibly tense, emotionally charged reunion. Using Muri's data and his own research, Dan pinpoints the origin point, a remote glacier in the Arctic. The white spikes weren't interdimensional travelers. They were deep frozen for millennia, brought to Earth by a meteorite, and now they're thawing out. It's a clever twist on the invasion trope, making the threat feel more grounded, almost a consequence of global warming, ironically enough. James, with his military background and resourcefulness, quickly grasps the gravity of the situation. This is it, the place where it all begins and where it can all end. The quiet crackle of the fire in the cabin, the soft rustle of maps, and the determined, almost desperate tone in Don's voice build the suspense. They're about to embark on the ultimate polar expedition, but with far more terrifying creatures than polar bears. Dan and James can't go alone. They recruit Charlie, the quirky scientist who somehow survived the future war, and Dorian, the conspiracy theorist with a surprising amount of practical skills. It's an unlikely fellowship of the desperate, united by their shared trauma and the desire to prevent the future they witnessed. They gather at a clandestine airfield, loading a small plane with gear, their faces grim but resolute. The cold, biting wind, the distant hum of the plane's engine, the nervous chatter of the group, it all paints a picture of a desperate, last-ditch effort. They're going off-grid, off-book, and probably off their rockers, but what choice do they have? It's like Ocean's 11, but instead of robbing a casino, they're saving the entire planet from spiky aliens. The journey to the Arctic is cold, desolate, and visually stunning in its harshness. The endless expanse of white, the jagged ice formations, the sheer scale of the wilderness, it makes humanity feel infinitesimally small. The constant drone of the plane's engines is the only sound, a metallic heartbeat against the vast silence. As they get closer, the enormity of their task becomes clearer. This isn't just a remote outpost. It's the very womb of the white spikes, a frozen tomb that's now becoming their cradle. The sense of isolation is profound, emphasizing that they are truly on their own, far from any help or civilization. It's the kind of scenery that makes you want to pull your coat tighter, even if you're just watching it on a screen. Finally, they reach their destination, a remote glacier. And there it is, a colossal alien spaceship, half buried in the ice, looking like something ripped straight out of an H.P. Lovecraft novel. It's ancient, imposing, and clearly not of this earth. The sheer scale of it, the intricate, non-Euclidean angles of its design, suggest a technology far beyond human comprehension. This isn't just a crash site, it's a monument to a species that traversed galaxies only to end up frozen in our polar ice caps. The crunch of their boots on the pristine snow, the biting wind, the silent, stunned awe on their faces, it's a moment of profound discovery that simultaneously confirms their fears and ignites a desperate hope. This is the smoking gun, the definitive proof of Muri's hypothesis. Right here, right now, inside the ship, they find hundreds, no, thousands of white spikes, all frozen solid, dormant for millennia. But the ice is melting and the creatures are stirring, slowly at first, then with increasing urgency. This isn't just an invasion, it's an awakening, a ticking time bomb just waiting to go off. The low, guttural growls, the chitinous clicks, the slight tremors in the ice, it's the sound of a sleeping army slowly coming to life. The sheer scale of the alien force is terrifyingly apparent, a horrifying nursery of potential extinction. The air is frigid, but the tension is boiling hot as they realize they've walked into a literal alien incubator, and suddenly, those tiny cracks in the ice don't look so insignificant anymore. With the sheer number of white spikes waking up, the team realizes they can't just inject one queen. They need to wipe out the whole nest, They plant explosives, hoping to collapse the entire cavern and bury the threat forever. It's a desperate... Of course, it wouldn't be a proper alien invasion without a queen, and this one is a real showstopper. A colossal, ancient white-spiked queen emerges from the deepest part of the ice, a creature of truly terrifying scale and power. Her roar is deafening, a guttural challenge that shakes the very ice around them. She's bigger, angrier, and surrounded by her newly awakened drones. The ground trembles with her movements, the sound of cracking ice a prelude to mass destruction. The air grows thick with dust and the acrid smell of alien breath. This is the big bad, the ultimate boss fight, and it's about to get very, very personal. You can almost feel the vibrations in your chest as she unleashes her full might, ready to protect her burgeoning empire. The cavern erupts into utter chaos. Thousands of white spikes swarm from their icy cocoons, spurred on by their enraged queen. It's a desperate, frantic battle, even more intense than the future war because this time, they are truly outnumbered and outgunned, with no backup. Dan and James fight side by side, their familial bond strengthening their resolve. Charlie, surprisingly, becomes a decent shot, proving that even a scientist can wield a rifle when facing extinction. Dorian, of course, probably makes a sarcastic comment or two while dodging a spiky tail. The roar of the queen, the frantic bursts of gunfire, the chilling clicks of hundreds of alien claws on ice. It's a sensory overload, a whirlwind of death and destruction. Every punch, every shot, every desperate dodge feels like it could be their last. The stakes are so high, they're practically an orbit dot in a move of sheer suicidal bravery. Dan and James manage to get close enough to the queen. It's a brutal wrestling match against a creature built for destruction, but Dan, fueled by Muri's sacrifice, manages to inject the toxin into her. The metallic crunch of the needle piercing her armor, the desperate, guttural shriek from the queen, it's a moment of pure, raw triumph. The toxin works quickly, spreading through her massive body, crippling her. Her roars turn to gurgles. Her powerful movements falter. The effect on the other white spikes is immediate and horrifying. They convulse, weaken, and die, linked as they are to their matriarch. The quiet sizzle of the toxin working, slowly silencing the cacophony of battle, is deeply satisfying. Humanity, against all odds, has found its silver bullet with the queen dispatched and the explosives doing their thing. The entire cavern begins to collapse. It's a race against time, a desperate dash for survival as tons of ice and rock come crashing down around them. The deafening roar of the collapsing glacier, the frantic scrabble of their boots on the icy floor, the near misses from falling debris. It's an exhilarating, heart-stopping escape. They barely make it out, covered in dust, ice, and probably some alien goo, but alive. The collective gasp for breath, the stunned silence broken only by their heavy pants, speaks volumes. They've done it. They've saved the world, not in the future, but in the present, preventing the very war that brought them together. It's a victory snatched from the jaws of absolute annihilation, and boy, did they earn it. Battered, bruised, but victorious, Dan returns home. He's a hero, though no one will ever truly know the full extent of what he did, or the future he prevented. He embraces Emmy and his young daughter, Maury, seeing her innocent face, knowing he saved her from a horrific fate. The warmth of their hug, the quiet certainty of their safety, is his true reward. The sounds of everyday life, the chirping of birds, the gentle laughter of his daughter. It's a symphony of normalcy he fought so hard to preserve. He's not just home, he's home to a future that never had to endure the white spikes, a future where his Maury gets to grow up. The quiet hum of domestic bliss, hard-won and deeply cherished, makes every scrape and scar worth it. He's probably going to need a very long nap after all that. The movie ends with Dan sitting quietly with his family, the weight of his experiences still present, but now tempered by peace. He saved the world, but he also gained a deeper appreciation for the present, for the everyday moments he almost lost. He reconnected with his estranged father, and he got to meet, and tragically lose, the amazing woman his daughter would become. It's a powerful reminder that our actions today can reverberate through time, shaping not just our own destinies, but the destiny of humanity itself. The quiet rustle of leaves, the distant sounds of kids playing, the comforting warmth of his wife's hand, it's also precious now, imbued with the knowledge of what could have been. The war is over, not in a blaze of glory for the world to see, but through the quiet, selfless actions of a few brave individuals. It truly makes you think about the choices we make and the ripples they create across the vast ocean of time. Every moment is a gift, especially when you've seen the alternative.